What is up, guys? Dzeeff here, and happy Volcanic Day. So you guys have probably seen Pain96 in a lot of comment sections over the years. He's probably this game's biggest Volcanic fan, and for 1,000 days as of today, November 21st, he has been begging Konami for Volcanic support. Now, a lot of people are posting Volcanic videos today in honor of this big milestone, 1,000 days, and that's what I'm here to talk about in today's video. We're playing Volcanics, we're playing an updated version of Volcanics because, to be honest, I have not played this deck in quite a while, but I am a big fan of this archetype. I even took Volcanics to the 2015 NAWCQ. I love Volcanics, I always have, but this is a new version of the deck, and I'm pretty excited to share it with you guys in today's video. So basically, the idea here is that you play your older Volcanic cards, which are honestly still pretty good even nowadays, especially Scattershot and Blaze Accelerator Reload, and then you combine them with the newer engine of Fusion Destiny plus Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Now, I know people are probably sick of hearing about this card, a lot of people are playing it, but it's uniquely good in Volcanics for a few key reasons. First off, this deck was never really able to summon Anaconda to summon Dragoon. This deck is not very good at putting multiple monsters on the board on turn 1. So having Fusion Destiny be in the deck, a card that you want to draw that lets you summon Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer without restricting you from summoning Volcanic Rocket like Red Eyes Fusion would, that is a pretty big deal. It's a very noticeable difference compared to Red Eyes Fusion. Also, though, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer has a ton of synergy with Volcanics. Namely, you can pop your Blaze Accelerator Reload to pop opponents' cards. That puts the reload in the graveyard, which you then could banish to either send a shell to the grave if you need more card advantage, or you could send Scattershot to Regeki your opponent's board. So I think that Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is very good in this deck. It even gives you a little bit to do when you go second. You can actually summon the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, pop the reload, pop an opponent's card, send that Scattershot, and wipe the opponent's board, all while going second. That's not really a type of play that was possible in Volcanics in the past, so I think Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is a very good addition to the Volcanic archetype. Pyro is still probably one of Yu-Gi-Oh's most under-supported types in the entire game. We've even gotten like rock support and fish support and reptile support over the past couple of years, but we really haven't gotten a lot of Pyro support, and we especially haven't gotten Volcanic support. So I hope that by making this video, it kind of shows people what Volcanics are capable of. I think this deck is actually not bad. You know, maybe if you spent a bit more time like testing it, you actually probably could get some wins, especially at local tournaments or smaller regionals. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will have a deck profile at the end of the gameplay, but here are some clips from when I played this deck. I think Volcanics are surprisingly playable even in 2021, and I hope you guys can kind of agree with me after watching the duels in today's video. Alright, it looks like we lost the rock, paper, scissors. That is really sad. Not a bad hand, actually a very good hand. Okay, that's not good for us. We're going to Valor that and cross our fingers that they have no extenders. What are the chances of that? Not really high, right? Oh my gosh, he did pass. That's incredible. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about here. Luckily, our opponent didn't really combo off too hard. Also, that got ashed, which is really sad. I was going to say we can pop the reload with Destroyer Phoenix, but anyway, we will just set a couple cards and pass turn. So one of the things that's cool about reload is that it's kind of like a card where it's good if you have Volcanic cards, because then you're getting draws, but even if you don't, you can use the card in different ways. So we could have destroyed it with the Destroyer Phoenix, but even though we can't get to that card, we can still use the Paleozoic Dinomischus to then take out one of his cards, and then that puts the reload in graveyard for its graveyard effect, which is pretty good. So here we're kind of in an awkward spot. I think we'll try to get some value off of the Torrential Tribute. We'll let him do his Seeker effect. That's fine this time around, and we'll see what he hits. Looks like he got the couple of good cards in there, actually. Let's see what he goes for. Will he go for the blue monster, the crystal? Okay, he does. Blue monster, I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, it is blue, but the crystal is what I meant to say. So that gets him a draw. I don't think we are worried yet about anything. I think we really need to save these interactions. Okay, now that he summons that, though, what if I just Torrentialed right there. Is that pretty good? We already know from the previous turn he doesn't have a ton of extenders. Okay, he does have supplier. That's okay. That's fine. Remember, right here we do have one banish and another board wipe, so we're not too worried, but a follow-up is going to be where our deck is going to struggle a little bit. So that's fine. If he goes for the Gallant Granite, I will probably Dino though. Oh, Adamantipator Signs. Okay. That's okay. What is he doing here? Maybe Helk? Maybe Baron? That'd be a pretty crazy play. Baron seems a little weird to me, but who knows? So he goes for that. That's okay. Signs stacks the deck. So what are you doing here? He is going for Baron. Wow, that's actually kind of interesting. Okay, that's fun. I see a lot of people like doing this with Baron. Okay, he's going for the Baron effect. We will chain this. Luckily, Dino does not discard for cost, so this doesn't actually matter if he negates that, sure. So now we could just use the other Dino to banish the Baron, but let me see what he's actually going to do. Okay, so he's just going to attack, so I'm going to Dino, targeting the Baron. He already used the negation effect. Sure, we'll summon the other Dino. Should I play Toad in this deck? Maybe. Maybe I should play Toad. We actually could have summoned it. Well, presumably we can summon it here if we draw a trap card, which we didn't. We drew Destiny Hero Celestial. Okay, so we'll leave the reload in the graveyard there. We don't want to take that out. That's going to be a scatter shot on our opponent's turn for 1500 damage, as well as wiping all of their monster cards, which is obviously a pretty big play. We'll poke for 28 here. It kind of seems weird that we normal summon to the Celestial, but I doubt we're going to draw a Fusion Destiny before this game ends. This deck doesn't really do that much damage like every single turn, so getting in those like random attacks is very important. So I think that attacking with the Celestial was pretty good there. Okay, our opponent keeps showing us they don't have extenders. Do I just scattershot one monster here before he discards? I think I do. Kind of risky. Like, I can let him discard, but that potentially can mess me up. You know, what if he discards a good card? I don't really want to put him in a situation where he actually has more extenders. Oh, he scooped. Why did you scoop here at 37? I only have 28 on board. I feel like you could have played that out like one more turn, but there we go. We won with Volcanics. Okay, so I've made a few changes to the deck as I've been playing this afternoon. The main change that I just did, though, is that I added Sky Cavalry to the extra deck, which should give me easier access to Zeus. I think that this deck actually does need like that one extra boss monster. There have been multiple times throughout this afternoon where I've actually been able to make a rank 2 monster, but I didn't have any rank 2s to make. So I think that Sky Cavalry will be a good card for us to have. Gosh, we draw this Dasher like every single time, by the way, but it's been like an up and down type of afternoon. We've won some games, we've lost some games, but overall, I feel like this deck is performing pretty well, going off of the fact that we are playing against like modern decks, and Volcanics, as Payne has sort of highlighted, have not gotten any recent support. That adds a card. He has 2 monsters on the board. Should I just Trenchel? Okay. Who cares about reading his effects, you know? He'll add a card, that's fine. What else can you do? You know, I Trenchel them. Oh wow, did the Trenchel actually work? He has no follow-up to that? It got in there. I think. Right? Yeah, okay, nice. Come on, Shell. Or Scattershot. Okay, not a bad card, but not really a card we can do anything with at the moment. Okay, so he's special summoning. That's fine. I feel like I just Scattershot that. Or I could just banish it, actually. That seems pretty good. Wow, he judgmented the Ice Dragon Prison. Anyway, activate Ice Dragon's Prison number 2. Oh, man. I mean, clearly he did not want this card to resolve, so I guess I'm going to really try to make it resolve. Yeah, I guess we're just passing. So at this point, he has 1 card. We have a reload with a Scattershot in hand. I think we're in a pretty good spot, but we will have to actually close out the game. That has been one of the difficulties of playing this deck so far, although drawing Fusion Destiny really helps here. Okay, yeah, draw Fusion Destiny, a very good card to draw in a simplified game state such as this one. Or he can Solemn Warning. Okay, here's the real question. Do I summon Scattershot to attack him a few times with it? Probably not, because At this point, if I resolve the scattershot effect to wipe the board, it'll actually put him to 500 life points, which is a good spot for us to be in. But we'll have to try to decide that. Okay, he didn't summon a monster here. Oh, see, this is a crazy good draw. Really puts him in an awkward spot. We'll go for the rocket effect, add another reload. Yeah, this is a really good spot to be in. We can go for the rocket direct attack. That'll put him to 100 life points, which in main phase 2 means we can win the game. So we will not be able to activate the scattershot effect to wipe the board because he has no monster cards, but we can do the scattershot effect for 500, which is enough to win the game there. Oh my gosh, I love scattershot because the burn effect is separate from the other effect, so you can do that for 500 damage even if they don't have any monsters on the board. What a game. Going first again here. Okay, we did draw pretty much one of the best hands we can ask for, and the Fusion Destiny, for like one of the first times today, did not get ashed. This thing has been ashed like 10 times this afternoon. It's been pretty crazy. Anyway, we're going to set the Dino, set the reload, set the Jar of Avarice, and then on our opponent's turn, we got some pretty good plays here. We can reload discarding the shell, that'll get us a draw. We can then Destroyer Phoenix the reload to pop a card, reload effect Engrave to scattershot, and the Dino can discard whatever we draw off of the reload discarding the shell. Not to mention we have the Jar of Avarice for the follow-up on the next turn, which is pretty hilarious. Okay, I saw this card earlier today. I don't think that game will make it into the video, but this is basically like a really bad prohibition. Instead of preventing your opponent from using the card that you call, it just like halves their life points if they use it. Not super relevant, I'm gonna be honest, but I guess it's what this guy's hot tech is. Yeah, I think we played against this person earlier, but anyway, he's going to use the Drytron Fafnir. With that effect, I think we are going to use the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer and chain the reload effect using its effect to send the shell to the grave, draw a card, and then pop that. It's just so appealing. Like, it's really hard not doing that when you have it available, but I was kind of like wondering, okay, that's fine, sure. Pre-prep. So he's playing the, wait, what was that? Was that Herald of Ultimateness and its ritual spell? I don't even know what the Herald of Ultimateness ritual spell does. That is not usually one that you see with the pre-prep. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. Cyber Emergency. So he has a lot of good cards in his hand right now. We do still have a Dino and a Scattershot, potentially. But could be tricky. Probably our best bet here is going to be to try to get a huge Scattershot to wipe his monsters before he's able to bring back the Ultimateness with Meteonus Drytron. I think we just want to prevent the rank 1 from coming out, so I think this is the right play. So we're going to send the Scattershot, use the Scattershot's effect, send that, trigger these. So right now his hand is Eva, Meteonus Drytron, whatever the Herald of Ultimateness ritual spell is. I feel like he can't ritual summon. I don't think he has enough resources to do it. Normal summon Eva, okay. That would be pretty good, but we do have the Dinomischus for it, which is, this is a really good use of Dinomischus, I'm gonna be honest. That cuts him off of like so many cards, it's just insane. Diviner, the Herald of Orange Light, oh my gosh, so good. That goes away because he used it. We have to resolve this effect, trigger this effect. And then on our standby phase, it'll come back. He's at 65. Okay, we draw that. We could special it with Dasher. Yeah, I think that's fine, actually. The reason that's pretty good is that we're going to Jar of Avarice and Celestial this turn. So if we draw a Rocket, it would be pretty good to be able to normal summon that. Because otherwise, to use the Celestial, we would have had to normal summon the Shell. So let's do this. Yeah, this actually could be pretty good. So we're going to special that guy, not use its effect. We're going to activate the Celestial effect. Drawing into Rocket and Strike, exactly what I was talking about. So by having the Shell get special summoned off of the Dasher, we now are able to normal summon the Rocket. Pretty big deal. I'm glad that that actually worked out. That's pretty cool. And then we can go for Jar of Avarice. For the Scattershots, I definitely forgot to use the Shell effect. That's okay. And that's actually not okay because we really wanted to shuffle that back instead of these Fusion Destinies, but I guess we'll just make do with what we have. Anyway, put those back. It's fine. So now we have another Dino. Okay, that's pretty good. So we can set Dino, we can set Strike. I'm doing this in main phase 1 because I think it's Duel Links for some reason. And then we'll go to battle phase and attack. Sorry, I'm just not used to like drawing this many good cards in a row. This has gone pretty much exactly the way that I wanted it to go. So it's just like I'm so excited that I just get ahead of myself sometimes. But we'll attack for the 25 as well. Our opponent does have 2 Drytron names in graveyard, which is kind of awkward. We'll probably have to strike the Alpha, and then we'll have to use the Dino on like another card, but not entirely sure here. We have a Destroyer Phoenix pop. We have a, I guess I can use this. How many times have I drawn before using that effect? Yeah, I think my order of operations here is not correct. So right now we have a pop, we have a board wipe once we discard this with a Dino, so we have a banish, and then we also have a strike. So I think we're in a pretty good spot against our opponent's 4 cards, although they are playing Drytron, so you never know. But they are playing kind of like a weird Drytron build. The Zeta is not the one that I'm worried about right here. It's the Alpha effect that we really don't want to resolve. So that's okay. He can do that. Okay, and then he uses the Alpha effect. We will strike right there, and that's probably game. He can attack over the shell, I guess, or at least try to. I'll just pop, I guess. Yeah, because we know that his hand right now is unplayable, right? Yeah, so unfortunately for him, that is not going to be enough to take a game off of us. But yeah, that was like exactly what you want to see happen with this deck. We opened with the Reload, we opened with the Fusion Destiny, we had the Jar of Avarice for a follow-up play. That was a very good showcase of what Volcanics are capable of. Anyway, here is the deck profile. Like I said, I did change it a few times throughout the afternoon. I think the deck actually does have more potential than even I discovered in today's video. I think you could change the deck list up, but I think this is a pretty good starting point. We have 3 copies of Rocket, 3 Scattershot, 3 Shell, 1 of each of Celestial and Dasher, 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I was originally playing Veiler in this deck because I think drawing into it with Reload is pretty good, but I ended up cutting it for other cards. It wasn't like doing enough for me. And then we have 3 copies of Extravagance, 3 copies of Fusion Destiny, 3 copies of Reload, 3 Dino Miscus, 2 copies of Marilla, 3 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison. I love this card right now. 3 copies of Torrential Tribute, 3 copies of Strike, 2 copies of Jar of Avarice. You could play Royal Firestorm Guards, but after all the games that I played today, I really do think this card is the better of the 2. You don't have to normal summon it. It can recycle things that aren't just Pyro monsters. Yeah, it's a trap card. Yeah, it doesn't draw 2 cards, but I do think right now at least I found this card to be a bit more successful than Royal Firestorm Guards. And finally, 1 copy of Imperial Order. The extra deck is kind of random. You do have to play multiple copies of everything because of Extravagance. So we have 3 copies of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, 2 copies of Anaconda because you really don't want to summon this card, but it's in there just in case it comes up. 3 copies of Sky Cavalry, really good addition to the deck. 2 copies of Heartland Draco, 2 copies of Downward Magician, and 3 copies of AA Zeus. I would honestly consider like just cutting both Heartland Dracos and adding in a 3rd copy of Downward and a 3rd copy of Anaconda, but I think the Heartland Draco can come up every once in a while, not only with 2 rockets, but if you have like Rocket plus Celestial, making a Heartland Draco to then make a Zeus is a pretty good thing. I think that is a decent play. Anyway, though, that is all for today's video for Volcanic Day. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of the deck. Personally, it went a lot better than I expected, especially after I made some changes throughout the day, and I think that Volcanics are a pretty decent rogue strategy right now. Hopefully, in the future, we do get more Volcanic support. This deck definitely needs it, like a Rhoda would be good, another normal summon would be good. There's a lot of theoretical support cards out there that would help out Volcanics quite a bit. But I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Okay, so he's going to use the Delta effect. We are going to strike and